blessings, and abundance community. Welcome back to the Zen Effect Show for this week's episode of Conscious Takes, where I bring what's not in the mainstream conversation to your radar, and where trending headlines meet higher perspectives, because every headline deserves a conscious take. Let's talk about what's making waves right now, you all, and how it's shaping the world we are consciously creating together and our collective evolution. And I really want you to stay focused on that phrase that I just stated, where we are shaping the world consciously, creating it together and our collective evolution, because in this episode of Conscious Takes, that's exactly what we're talking about. So this weekend that just passed, the weekend of, just going to my calendar, October 17th, 18th, 19th, over that weekend is when the No Kings protests took place. And you all, it spanned thousands of events across nearly every state, with organizers projecting turnout even larger than the 5 million that attended previous nationwide action that took place in June. And these protests are unifying around big issues such as opposition to immigration tactics, federal military intervention in states, democratic rights, and raising a voice against what many feel is an authoritarian overreach. I want to speak to this first, because this protest is a wake-up call for all of us. It's a wake-up call in many ways, in many facets. However, I want to speak to this. We're evolving. We're evolving. The world has evolved, and it's necessary for us to catch up with it. It's time for this species to evolve. And it's all tied to emotional intelligence, and it's all tied to us being more active and paying more attention to what's happening and what's going on from a lens of truth. Not from a lens of sound bites, not from a lens of fear, not from a lens of negativity, but from the lens of truth. And what you are able to be in command of right now is yourself and your immediate world. And instead of the word world, I like to refer to it as your nucleus. Your inner nucleus, your core inside yourself, as well as your external nucleus, which is what your life is looking like, what you're experiencing, your village, your tribe, your people, your warm circle, as well as the job you go to, what you're creating, your business, all the things that include your life vibes of relational, spiritual, emotional, personal, all of them. Okay? I just touched on a few. And if we truly desire, which we do, to move forward, not backward, and not side to side, this is a wake-up call. Everything that is occurring is a wake-up call. And it's asking us, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? And there's so many things necessary to be done. However, the main focus is the energy within yourself. Because once you shift that, once you have a perspective shift, once you expand into the more of yourself, that energy from your aura radiates. And if all of us do that, we're able to unify, come out of duality consciousness into a unified consciousness, and truly evolve and truly make waves and create shifts and change that will support all of us collectively. Not this group over here, this race over here, this religion over here. All of us, not this ideation over here, all of us collectively. That's what it's going to look like, and that's what it's going to take. And in the midst of this, there's fear being perpetuated around the government shutdown. And to all those who are being affected financially, I am sending energy your way because this is really challenging. Retail stores, different spaces are experiencing the effects of the government shutdown. And with that being said, we've been hearing discussion around flight delays, travel disruptions due to the Federal Aviation Administration reports that air traffic control staffing issues because of the shutdown. And they're really highlighting large delays in Dallas, Chicago, Atlanta, and Newark, as well as TSA lines. And there was actually a video that was circulating social media, specifically Instagram is where I saw it. And it literally had like the wait line just looked ridiculous for TSA, but yet people were commenting on that post. I'm here right now. This was one particular day. This video wasn't even taken on that day, different things like that. And with all of what many, I'm not gonna say what you all, but what many people call it is the noise. The noise. With all of these things being said, it can be challenging to really know what's happening, what's going on. And I just want to give a brief story. I've experienced this myself. And with this example that I'm giving of what I experienced, I'm not relating it to the seriousness of this. However, when I experienced being amid a hurricane, what was being perpetuated that was happening, because I had friends, loved ones reach out to me, you know, are you okay? Are you all right? What have you? And what they were seeing was a lot more severe than what was taking place. Now, it's a hurricane, it's severe, but what was being stated was a lot more serious than what was taking place. It reminded me recently when I went to Chattanooga and it flooded, and literally the way that it was being perpetuated was it's flooded so bad, like nothing's open in Chattanooga, you know, it's just like washed out in a way, is the way it was being perpetuated. And that wasn't the case, because I was in Chattanooga walking around fine, didn't even encounter super wet lands or anything like that. So we must be mindful of what sources we're receiving, who our sources are for information, and it's also important for us to look into it even further and even deeper. And speaking of, everything that I'm speaking to today is sourced from The Guardian, Time, and The Washington Post. So with that being said, it's okay to feel the fear. I encourage you to feel it, but don't live inside of it. To anchor yourself in your inner nucleus of your body, your breath, and your outer and your internal home, as well as your external home, your community, your village. Because when you do, and this is a call for all of us, it literally shows up energetically in our aura. And then we are able again to unify and come out of duality consciousness into unity consciousness and move in a way that supports us collectively. Not what supports this group over here, this religion over here, this culture over here, this space over here, this group, this, that, and the third. All of us collectively. So your takeaway is this: the world may feel louder than ever because it is. And when it gets loud and loud distortions are here, it's calling us forward. It's calling us forward. Your presence is necessary. And ground in that nucleus. Stay aware, stay engaged, and also stay compassionate for yourself, for others, and for the world that's waking up while we all move forward march direction together. If today's conscious take resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps this platform grow and amplifies conscious voices for our community and for the conscious culture. The more expansive we become as a show, you all, the bigger our reach and the more powerful messages, guests, and conversations we can bring to the Zen Effect Show. So hit the link in the description. You'll find my socials, website, and info on how to promote your business or join me as a guest or refer a guest. I'm your host, Zen, and this has been the Zen Effect Show segment of Conscious Takes, where culture meets consciousness. Until next week, keep your soul hydrated and your spirit fortified, and stay aware.